Hello everyone and welcome to Off the Isle. This is Saino and we just got into the game, so the first thing we're going to do is cover the user interface. So to modify it, as it looks a little bit wonky right now, you hit the escape button, go to settings, interface tab, and layout mode. This allows you to move around all of the windows, including these bars down here. So what we're going to do is modify this the way we want to, and then when we come back, we'll continue on with the video. Alright, we have our user interface set up, and why don't we go over the different aspects of it. So over at the top left, we have the player status. It has the class icon, level, hit points, endurance, and energy. And some classes have specific elements like the virtue points there, which is the blue orb. Active effects are buffs and stuff. You can see that right there underneath the player status. I moved it there. The compass shows us direction, and whenever we're on a quest or we're looking for a certain item for a quest, it'll show it up on the map as well, or your tombstone. The mini-map over at the top right, that shows the immediate surroundings, and I can actually zoom in and out, which is really cool. We have the target status. Now if I target somebody, my target status comes up, and it shows the health of the target and also the range to that target. The main hotbar is right here. That gives me an easy access to my skills and abilities. I can just put them on there and everything like that. I'll show you that in a little bit. The chat displays everything from player chat to in-game updates, and I can switch to the combat tab, but I haven't done any of that. And defensive target, that's me. I can target myself, and you can see it right here underneath my player status, who the defensive target is, and I'll get a little bit more into what offensive and defensive targets are. I can have additional hotbars here. That's what these are on the left and right of my main hotbar. I can have numbered slots from a main hotbar, and you can see the skills that are here, they have numbers for it. So if I push 5, my healing spell will go off, and it'll heal me. Bag slots, that's these right here. I currently don't have any bags installed, but that's the bag slot. The quick bar is right here. This pretty much gives you quick access to all of the important windows in the game, which we'll cover a little bit later. Then I have the connection status. This shows everything from your connection to the server, to your frames per second, or how well you're running the game, to the game time and the local time. The experience bar is right here, and gold is for experience, blue is rested, red is usually experience stat, but I'm not sure if they still have that in the game. And when it's filled, you level up. Your stance right here, that's the stance right there. Every single class has a different type of stance, so we'll get into that a little later. So to place a skill in the hotbar, I'm just going to move this one over to the left. You just click it and drag over to where you want to go. It's not immediate. You got to click it and kind of hold it. But if you click and hold and move it over, it'll move. Some people like to use hotbars, these extra hotbars here. Some people like to use banking, and what that means is you can switch in between hotbars. So for example, instead of having all these hotbars, if I'm really good with knowing what skills are on what bars, I can just use shift 1 to 0 to shift in between the hotkey banks. And some people like to do that to keep their user interface really nice and clean. I like to have all my skills available to me so I don't forget any of them. So to add a hotbar, like I did here, all we do is go to Settings, and we scroll down to, we're in the Interface tab, and we scroll down to Additional Hotbars. You can see here as I click and unclick some of these options, you'll see the bars appear and disappear. Now the important menus that I was telling you about earlier that this main bar goes over is the character sheet, which can also be opened with a C button, and this gives you all of your equipment tabs for your classes. Also gives you important attribute points, skills, and other attributes that you can modify yourself later on. So it's a really good window to know. The quest log can be opened with L. And this will show you all your requests for adventuring, crafting, and diplomacy, your work orders, locations for quests, and the achievements from your quests. Abilities can be opened with P, and this will show your adventuring, your crafting, recipes, your diplomacy cards, and general roundabout skills that don't really have to do with any of the other 3 tiers. The map, which can be opened with M, this shows a much larger area. And finally, the social screen. Now, the social screen can be opened up with O, and this shows you your friends. You can find guilds with this. Here's all the guilds that are currently recruiting. You can make a caravan, which we'll go into later, brotherhoods, which we'll go into later, and raids. Very awesome. You can also find groups with this. It's a very, very useful window. So players have blue names, friendly NPCs have green names, non-aggressive NPCs have yellow names, and hostile NPCs have red names. Now do be careful, because some yellow-named NPCs can be attacked. They're not aggressive, but they're still hostile towards you. Alright, there are a few different types of quests in the game. Here is an adventuring quest. You can tell by the sword and shield. We'll go ahead and accept it here. Yellow means that we've never accepted the quest. Blue means that we're currently on the quest. And green means that we've finished the quest. So we're going to go over here, and you can see that the shield is now green.
Has it been a good year for you?
And we can turn in the quest. Now do be careful, because this character does have another quest for me, but there's no shield over it. So you have to ask a question. You got to be very careful with that when you're going about just running through quests and everything. It's really important to read everything so that you make sure you don't miss anything. Here's a diplomacy type quest. You can tell by the scroll, and it's yellow, we haven't accepted it yet. And over here is a crafting type quest, which you can tell from the anvil shape. Again, it's yellow because we haven't accepted it. I had mentioned before about offensive and defensive targets. An offensive target is any NPC or object, and it basically means like any enemy or a non-player character, like a merchant or something like that. They'll appear in this target window. A defensive target is any friendly player or someone in my group or myself. And it's important to note that if you're on a PvP server, other players may also be offensive targets. So be very careful about that. The defensive target window is right there underneath my player status, like we talked about before. Now when you have an offensive target, it's important to note the dots and the color of the dots to the right of the name of the target. 1 to 2 dots means they're soloable. 3 to 4 dots you probably want a small group for. 5 dots probably need a full group for, and 6 dots you might need a full group or an entire raid, actually. Now if the dots are gray, you won't get any experience. Green, you'll get a little experience. Blue, you get decent experience. White, you get average experience. Yellow, you get a bonus. And red, you get more experience. And purple, you get amazing experience. Now every few levels you want to go and talk to one of your trainers to make sure you're always up to date on your skills. In this game you do need to go to trainers, and you do need to get your skills from them. So here I have a smite available. Next one is about almost every 2 levels. So every 2 levels I'm going to check back. I train, and now I have my ability. It's right there. Now dealing with merchants, you'll always have the scroll with the coins whenever you hover over them, and they'll allow you to repair your gear and also buy wares from them. Now this person sells armor, cloth armor. As you can see, if I mouse over it, it'll appear on my character as if I were wearing it. It's very useful, so you can see a preview of any type of equipment before you go to buy it. Not only is there adventuring, but there's also crafting, as well as diplomacy. So here is my adventuring outfit. When I open up my character tab and I go to the second tab here, the anvil, that's my crafting tab. You can see he has his own equipment, his own inventory. Here is the harvesting tab. This is what I use to gather all my harvesting materials for my crafting profession. And this last tab here is my diplomacy character. So each progression is its own full progression. They have their own quests and their own storylines, and I'll get more in depth in them into the next video.